In the 70s and 80s, artists started using electronic drums more and more. A great example of this is the LinnDrum used in Kiss by Prince.
Instead of grabbing a LinnDrum, we decided to recreate this the hard way by recording acoustic drums and processing them until they sound like LinnDrums.
So to recreate the sound of the LinnDrum, we just have a 3-piece kit. This is the Ludwig Vista-Lite kick drum, which has a very warm attack, and we stuffed it with tons of pillows so that it would give us a really dead sound. For our snare, we're using the Yamaha Jimmy Chamberlin signature snare, and we put a big fat snare drum on top of it because those play really well together. And then we're going to be hitting the snare with this kind of bristle brush because it gives it an awesome electronic effect.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did you not just use a regular LinnDrum sample? We didn't have one, okay? And also, we had a drum set and this was fun and we wanted to do it, and that's what we did today. Also, if you do it this way, you can have a drummer play with the feel of a real drummer, but you can have LinnDrum sounds. It also sounds a little bit more interesting because it has a unique sound that is close to a LinnDrum, but not quite there. We have our kick-in mic, that's an Electro Voice RE20. We have our kick drum with the front head off so we can stick it right inside of the drum. The Vista-Lite that we used has a really soft attack, and we did that for a very specific reason. We wanted the drum to not have a lot of attack in itself so that we could add attack artificially. The way that we did that was sticking a contact mic on the shell of the drum itself. It sounds insane on its own, but if you process it, you can turn it into kind of whatever you want. So we use that to create the clicky attack that's on the LinnDrum kick drum. The kick drum is only half of the low-end sound in this song. The other half is a reverb created by an AMS RMX 16. It's set to reverse, and it has about a 4-second decay. When you put those together, it creates a really electronic sound that also has its own rhythm that it's adding to the song. For the snare, we used 2 microphones. One of them was an AKG 414, and we just stuck it right on the snare, nothing special. And the other one was very special because it was a pair of headphones made by Audio-Technica, and it was just placed sitting on top of the snare. Now that did 2 things. That was deadening the snare itself, so it was keeping it the length to a minimum, and it was also recording it in a really unnatural sounding way. Speakers, microphones are exactly the same design, it's just which direction the electricity is flowing. So if you stick a pair of headphones on top of a snare, it does 2 things. It deadens the snare itself because it's resting on top of it, and it records it in a really unnatural way, kind of similar to a contact mic, but a very specific sound. We processed it heavily with a lot of compression, gating, EQ to recreate some of the white noisy sound that the LinnDrum snare had. We tracked the hi-hat with an SM57 so that it felt a little bit lo-fi. We recorded the hi-hat separately so that we could process it completely differently than all the other drums. All of the syncopation in that song that sounds like it's a drummer playing syncopated is actually a really simple drum pattern with a delay added to it. So we added plugins to create that today. To finish the kick and snare sound, we added compression and gates to create this really abrupt gated sound. We added quite a bit of EQ to shape the sound and make it feel a little less like natural drum kit. We also added tape saturation and envelope followers to further shape the attack and decay of the sound. And lastly, we added Avid's lo-fi plugin to change the sample rate and bit depth of the song to make it feel a little bit more like 80s digital sampling. That's how we made acoustic drums sound like a LinnDrum.
Let us know how close you think we got in the comments, and we'll see you next time.